You pay for it?
All
You're
right,
live
so
now.
we're going live. All right, we are live. I believe. Yeah, we're live.
Hey, salam alaikum.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How do I turn this up? All right. Yeah, my camera's just weird.
Hey, Jibril, you have a slight echo.
Yeah, because I was pulling up on here, so we're good. We're good now. So trying to. There we go. All right, everybody. This is the second. This is the second one of the Nadirah, Breel, and Mo show. I don't know where Mo's at. I see Muhammad Hassan.
Hey, you know what? After you guys logged in, I was like, yo, I think I need to change my agenda. But then we went live. I was like, it's all good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Muhammad trying to show us out, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he got
the ring light on. He got a haircut. He got
yeah
in the background. Get out of here.
You know what's funny?
The funny thing back from DC, you ain't got a haircut and then pulled up late like this guy.
The funny thing is that if you ask Jibril, usually it'd be the other way around. I just have like my beard out and just be scruffy, bro. Like I can't do that.
This man put on a white T-shirt like he going on 60 Minutes.
Mama said, "Yeah, I'm rushing home."
Right, what's up?
He's like, I'm married, but you know, gotta look nice. Man. Okay, so last time we did Dave Chappelle, and I think that was a great conversation. It was kind of like everyone's talking about it, still talking about it. But a show that Mo and I got introduced to, was it the same day? No, it was the same night. After we did the live,
yep,
we got introduced to you. Hey, you, right? Cool as hell. But we got introduced to the show. We were watching it upstairs with a couple friends, and then Mo was like, "Bro, like I'm still watching. I finished season 1 in like a day. Did you finish? We should do season 1 review of it." So boom, here we are doing season 1 review. Nadirah is here. Mo is here. And I'm curious to see what y'all think. I recently finished it. I waited. I want to unpack this with y'all, man. What y'all, first off, what do y'all think overall of you? This show, season 1.
You know, I'll go ahead and start off. So it's interesting because if Joe Goldberg, right, would actually listen to Juicy J and said, "Don't save him. She don't want to be saved.
Don't want to be saved. Don't save him. You know what?
You know what? He would have really like saved a lot of trouble because even from the beginning, it was so interesting because like a lot of times when we look for people, we kind of obsess on the things they got going on. So he knew that she had a man, the relationship wasn't good, and he just kind of was like, "Yo, I want that." You know what I mean?
Mo, he's been listening to all the 90s R&B because you listen to half of it, half the time, half the women they're singing to already got a man. He's like, "Yo, I can do better than this man. Be mine."
So okay, so you're right. That's true. And the guy was treating her just like horribly. You feel me? So I get that point. But it's like I was telling Jabril is that sometimes you do too much for people and it just harms you. You feel me? So Joe,
there's like too much.
Hey, look. This is coming from the man.
Muhammad's wife must be in the room. He's looking over like, baby, I'm
get some truth.
Hey, look,
you get some truth here right now, bro.
What's
going on?
Yeah, look, if we start from the beginning, the show was just very interesting and creepy at the same time when he was narrating. You feel me? Like you were actually trying to listen to his thoughts, and then he was talking at the same time. So that really did freak me out. And it was at the library, so I was just very interested from the show just from the beginning. So they did a good job just bringing me in. You feel me? And kept me for the whole show. So pass it off to Nadirah and see what she got to say.
So they just got recently put onto you. However, I've watched it from season 1. Like when the first season came out, I've seen it since then, and I'm
What was
caught
that,
up on all 3
2019?
seasons. It is just first of all, storyline is great. Storyline is great. Like the way that they start the show, the way they build up to it, the way you go from thinking like, oh, just a regular little white man or like a regular little white girl. Then he's like, yeah, I'm about that action. Wonderful storyline. He's like, yeah, I'll do anything to have you. I'm like, okay. Flowers, chocolate, gifts. He's like, murder, violence, homicide,
Go straight to the big stuff,
kidnapping.
shorty. Death.
He's
I
like,
do that.
with everything for a shorty that I barely know.
Telling you, 90s R&B.
It is like a stereotypical like white man doing white man stuff, and this is also fueled by the fact that like I've watched quite a few recently. Actually, I've watched quite a few interviews with serial killers that were white men, and people will always say, oh my god, these white men, like, they were geniuses, and to be a serial killer you have to be a genius. And these white men were like, police officers were literally letting me go. This man said he was abusing both his son and his wife for like years. He said, I got to a point where I felt so bad, I went into the police station and was like, here's what I've done. And he said the cop was like, please get out of here.
Are you serious?
So Joe is no different. For the main girl that he was like doing all this for, you don't feel somebody staring at you through your window?
Well, hold on. All right. First off, we're gonna go to this point, right? Why don't she got no blinds?
White people do not, and like
You
you really have to understand,
Nadirah,
they live in a completely different world. And I say this as somebody that lives in like a suburban neighborhood. They don't care.
Nadirah, though, you can see this girl's floors from her window. You can see her
lives on the first floor. Like that's fascinating. That was killing me.
About walking his dog, watching her change her clothes. Like, no, she was asking to get stalked at that point.
You're making eye contact with people on the sidewalk.
Facts.
You see your mailman walk up. That's crazy. Your mailman, he doesn't even play in the box. I got it.
There you go.
There you go. Like, all right, what's the trippiest part of this to me is I'm gonna say this first. Joe crazy, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna start with that. So everything I say, just remember, it is the foundation of everything. He crazy, he's wrong, cool. But as the season goes on, you start realizing that he was very weird. It's kind of like Mo said, you're in his head.
Yeah.
He's very right about the people that's around, that he's around.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's an observer. You ever be around somebody that watches people and they oddly can like they pick out people's characteristics very well. It's kind of weird. Yeah. I feel like he's like that, right? And so as the season goes on, he's picking out stuff about Beck, about Peach, about all these people, and you're like, kind of right. And it's weird because the writing, and you're right, it's a very well written, very well paced show because the writing almost makes you agree with him to the point where, not saying the murders are justified, but you almost understand, like you go through his process, so you understand why he does it.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like, I don't watch a lot of serial killer stuff, so it was like weird for me to watch that and be like, he's wrong. Like, I'm not saying I justify. I'm just saying like, like. But the one thing that was really funny, Mo said it in the beginning. Dude, Benji said it best. He was like, you're doing this for her? He's like, you can have her. And I was like, bruh, like this dude's telling you a clear sign, don't waste your time. And dude made a whole season out of it. He made a few seasons out of it. that this is what he gets, and it's like, wow.
But I was discussing this the other day with somebody. I don't know if you guys know much about like mental illness and like disorders, but what do you think he has?
He definitely got PTSD.
Yeah, and the other thing, he went through like a mania. Well, I think it's like a manic stage.
Yeah.
Kind of when he's going
Manic
like
depression.
yeah, so when you just go in that mode, sometimes it's just kind of just instinct. You feel me? Kicks in. People don't even think about the things that they do. But and there was something that you just said. This is very stereotypical because even with Guinevere Beck, she had daddy issues and she was sleeping with a lot of guys. You feel me? Outside of Joe, you follow. So like you said, a white man, just stereotypical thing about just a girl having daddy issues and sleeping with a whole bunch of men. And one thing about Joe is that like he was pulling them. You feel me? He got a whole bunch of girls. You feel me? So he was he was
No,
and the thing that he pulled all those girls and he said, "I'll be there for you, protect you, and provide you." He was a librarian. You kind of see what I'm saying? So like, but guys.
No, I'm just saying he was a loser.
So it's like
well, you just proved the point though that you don't need to have a stable job or a stable mentality to pull joints. It's pretty bad, bro. If this dude pulling joints, that's pretty bad.
First of all, librarians make good money.
Yeah, they actually, and he runs a bookstore.
Librarians actually do make good money.
Mo, don't come for him. Don't come for librarians.
But I do think he was a narcissist. And it was very apparent that he was a psychopath. And that's why it was very easy for him to pick out people's behaviors because contrary to popular belief, we're more alike than we think. Especially when you have people that are in close proximity to each other. We have the same social cues, we make the same faces, we do the same things. So he's able to pick out and be like, a part of being a psychopath, you don't have many people that are close to you. Nobody's really watching you. You almost kind of disappear. Nobody's watching you, but you're watching everybody else.
Yeah, it's weird.
And not only do you pick up well on social cues, but as a psychopath, you can mirror them. So you see how he was, even though he was like, I would say he was an evil person, he was very good at like mirroring kindness. You never saw him, unless he was like with his victims, you never saw him get angry. You never saw him lash out. You never saw him curse somebody out. He never like threatened anybody that he didn't have full intent to kill.
Yeah. A lot of people trusted him too.
Exactly.
That I almost disagree with though. Because if you look at everybody that he killed, we'll start with Benji. He never was yelling at him. The only time he like physically hit him was when he hit him with the mallet. I'm not gonna lie. In the episode
exactly.
What I guess what I'm getting at is there was no anger at all, which I thought was weird, right? Like if you look at anyone that he killed in that first season, I'm trying to just remember everybody. How many people killed the first season?
I think it might have been like 5 people.
5? One, because he killed
Benji, Peach,
yeah.
Beck.
Oh, if you haven't seen season 1, damn. But
Beck. It was somebody else.
His ex and the guy that she was with. And then
her boyfriend, yep, he killed him.
And then Ron.
Yes.
But see, that's where I think the writing of the show is really good because they do a good job of making him maleficent and beneficent at the same time. Like he's obviously this bad person, but you empathize with him because you know that one of his soft spots is abused children. Right. And so while he is this horrible person, he's defending, like you can tell something happened when he was a kid because he's defending children. That's why he's so nice to the kid Paco, and he eventually kills the dude Ron, and he's trying to protect the kid the whole time. So I think that for me, that's what I thought was the most interesting is you see this person that's obviously, like you said, evil, right? And what they do, but I don't think in I don't think in his head he actually thinks what he's doing is evil. Like he believes like what he's doing is out of
He has
kindness.
to justify it.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Because like you said, he's not like an angry. I would say he is a little bit impulsive, but not as impulsive as he could be if he was an angry person. So it's like, if I have to hurt you from a place of me not being angry, I have to give myself a good enough reason if anger is not it.
I don't think his mind goes through that though.
You don't think so?
I almost think it's like it's kind of like, well, this person trying to hurt you, so I'm protecting you, and I had to do it. Like just simple. I think it's literally that simple, and that's how scary it is. That is that simple.
But then also, but kind of Jabril, to Nadirah's point, if you look at the show overall, it shows domestic violence abuse since he was a kid. It shows suicide. It shows just like the over sexuality and I mean the over sexualization of like women. You feel me? Just because of just everything that it shows on top of that. And then if he wasn't evil, he would have owned up to the things that he did, but he was able to just maneuver things around to make it seem like it was an accident or they kind of like hung themselves, you know? So what's crazy to me is that even though they showed all those signs of domestic violence, I think they could have portrayed it in different ways because there's a lot of people that are kind of going through that stuff. You know what I mean? So I just think, you know how like you try to tell a story, you try to hit on different points. All the that they were hitting was like extreme. You feel me? All the points in the show were extreme, but I think that's what really kept people coming back and addicted to the show. You feel me? So
yeah,
it definitely for him to end up being the person that he was. Mm-hmm. It definitely had to be extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Like if he would have been like, my mommy gave me a spanking when I was younger, and now I'm crazy, I would have been like, all right, where's this going?
It's like you on that trajectory, but now you're on another.
You must have been a little deeper.
And I don't disagree with either of y'all. I just think that when you go into the mentality of these people, you almost got to think like a child, right? And I think for anyone that's still in season 1, season 2 dives a little bit more into him. So I don't want to spoil any of that. And it's kind of hard because I just finished season 2, so I'm trying not to merge the two, but I definitely think when you have someone that's that psychotic, their level of thinking is very sophisticated, but it's also very childlike at the same time. So in his head, that's why I think like most it's very creepy to be in his head because you're almost like, fam, it's not like you're living in a whole different reality. Like you're seeing it, and we're seeing the show through his reality, but us being people that you're looking at like, fam, like, nah, like that's not what you do.
Even to go as far as to see somebody one time and to mentally become that attached to this person is not normal. I'm so sorry. This is way beyond like love at first sight.
Yeah, let's start with that.
This is Allah save me from that, because what?
Yeah.
That's what Shorty wants.
And he was like, yeah, that's
time. He was like, oh, I'm set. I'm set.
You would thought he was Muslim, you feel me? He was trying to get married off the bat.
He was like, hey, you. What's up?
What's good, mama?
What was all right? Then my question to that is, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. Why her and not any other joint that came in? Obviously, we don't know because we didn't write the show. But like, what are y'all theories behind that?
Like we already said, psychopaths are very observant. And like he did with her and all of his other victims that come in later seasons, and like he did with the previous girlfriend, he will find a soft spot, or he will find a loophole. He'll prey on your weaknesses, basically. So he could already tell she don't really got that many friends. She's in a relationship, and after a little bit of stalking, she's in a relationship she's not satisfied with. Her life is going haywire. She's not happy. Da 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 da. So it's like, for the type of person that he was, especially somebody that is a narcissist, that is a psychopath, it had to be her.
No. Yeah,
Like
fair enough.
having a fully, I don't want to say fully formed because that doesn't necessarily imply that you're not a fully formed, but having a woman that's like an optimal health, a woman that has like reached her level of comfortability, a woman that is like at the maximum level of self-love, he could do nothing for her. And she would not, because that's another thing. The type of love that he required, which a lot of men, very needy. I need you to do this. I need you here. I need you. I need you. I need you. The same way he was with her. I need you. I need you. I need you.
Mm-hmm.
A fully high functioning woman would never.
Yeah.
Would never. She could not satisfy his narcissistic urges and desires to have someone that needs him.
So I think that goes both ways then, right? Like he wants on both ends of that. He wants someone that needs him, and then he wants to be and then he wants to need somebody. Like it's like a parasite on a parasite sort of situation. But I guess throughout the show you kind of see the one side of it, and you I guess have to kind of read in between the lines with the other side, right? Like he wants her to always need him, but really he needs to always
needs her. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. Damn.
Hey, look, I think the craziest thing about this show is the ending, because and Nadirah is like you mentioned, like Beck was the perfect victim for him, you know, because she was a writer and he was a reader.
Yep.
And at the end of the show, and then at the end of the show, after he killed her, it didn't stop at that. He turned her into a book, how he could have her like forever. And the crazy thing about it is that her story is gonna go a lot further than it would have ever been if she was just herself, like ragged self. You know what I'm saying? So
was nuts. Was so nuts about that though, right? And I think it's the whole theme of this guy, maybe of other narcissists and psychos and things like that. He keeps shooting himself in the foot. Like Mo and I were watching it, right? And I was like, yo, a dude would he's in the winning seat, right? Let's say he just did the stalking of episode, like midway through episode 1, right? He didn't go too far, and he stopped there. It was like, yo, she has a crappy relationship. Her friends really ain't really her friends, and she's into you. Like, fam, you're good. Just stop right there, right? And what I think is funny, you said it as well, Nadirah, is like there are a lot of guys that aren't Joe, but they go to those lengths of like it's a lot coming on. And it's like fam, like if you would just chill out, you'll be good. But niggas want to be Joe.
Also realizing, because I think they dive into that, like you said, a bit more about him in season 2. But to kind of sum it up for everybody, he comes from like a very abusive, very like tumultuous childhood. And I always say, be aware of people that are only children, especially if they have a lot of trauma and if they had a lot of neglect, because what they have managed to do, and it's so crazy. Like, that's the craziest thing to me, is that your mind will literally do what it needs to do to protect itself and to cope with anything. So they will create, like you said, they will create these worlds, and when they grow up, they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll do one thing and they'll be like, why'd you do that? Like, you're trying to disrespect me, you're trying to do this, and you'd be like, what? But they're in their own universe entirely. But even with him, which I don't know if you guys realize, because he grew up in such a tumultuous environment, he had the insatiable desire to constantly be in control.
Yeah.
And that's really why he killed all those people, because he's like, you're coming in to around this person, around this world that I'm trying to create with this person, in this environment, and doing and saying things that are outside of my control.
Yeah.
Even with Beck, he's like, literally just let me control you. Like, let me, say what it is I want you to say. Stick to the script that I've written for you that you have no idea about. So that's when I was like, yeah, this man is crazy.
That's nuts. But
This man is crazy.
I think it's subtle though, because I think there's so many people that aren't in relationships because they
Yeah.
also want that. Like all of us want it, right? Like
Yeah.
let's be honest about every single one of us wants to have control of some sort.
Yeah.
The hard part about being here, and when I say here, I mean like alive, is you learning to let go of control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think trauma exasperates a lot of that, where you feel like because X, Y, and Z happened to you, you got to take the most extreme measures to keep control so that what happened to you in the past
Yeah.
or what happened to someone else that was in your life
Yeah.
doesn't happen again. Because again, without going into the following seasons, I think it isn't even just about what happened to him. It's about what happened to other people around him as well when he was coming up. And they allude to it in season 1, but I thought that obviously I think watching the further seasons lets you into it more, but you start seeing, okay, nah, this dude's wild.
You know, another thing to add on to that point, Jabba, is that all the men that are on this show that kind of Joe goes after, kind of bumps into, they're all like kind of pretty shitty. You feel me? So like Ron, it's like you said, Ron.
Yeah.
Ron beat his girl, right? And then you had Benji that did whatever he did to Beck. You know what I mean? And then you had
Nikki.
Who?
Dr. Nikki.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He had a whole family and kids, and was cheating on them. You feel me?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. So you know he was also shitty dude. And then also the professor, even though he didn't kill him, but he was like a pervert too. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm surprised he didn't go after him harder.
The professor, he let him slide.
He was like, "You good?" Like,
he's like, "Yeah, you got that one."
He was like, "I got you in season 4, though. Don't worry."
You know what I mean? So like, throughout the whole show, like all the characters that were guys, there weren't anyone that were just like, that were just kind of like stable. You feel me? So or just morally okay. You feel me?
Well, if you think about it, no one in the show was okay, and I think looking at it through Joe's perspective, right? Obviously, it's like rose-tinted glasses. Like everyone looks bad in his eyes, but us being on the outside, kind of looking in at the whole thing, you're like, okay, he's sick, but all these people got something going.
Yeah.
Well, the only person in this show that was not crazy was the Uber driver that took them home, and like of all the main characters, the Asian lady, the Asian friend that they had.
Oh yeah.
She was the only one that was like.
She was just trying to drink. She
we'll have a good time. Like, other than that, every single one of them has some sort of like issue that if we saw them in real life, we were around those type of people. Those are the type of people like, I'm good. I ain't even trying to bang with you like that. You know.
Yeah.
So
there weren't too many.
What's her name though? The best friend that he killed, the woman.
Peach.
Oh my God. She was so like predatory.
She was the same as Joe.
I was like, ew, like girl.
She wasn't killing people.
But yeah, she definitely did the most.
Yeah. And they
when he tried to kill her and she didn't die.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
I was like, bro.
She's staying alive for something deeper. She here for a deeper reason. She was like, oh no, I can't die yet. She had to get to that cottage.
And what did you guys think about the end when old girl was still alive?
Oh, that didn't freak me out when she came back. Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I wasn't. I thought he was. Yeah. That was.
There's so many things I'm like, may Allah save me from. There's certain things I'm like, if I were to go through that, I don't want to survive.
Well,
like to literally have to wake up and dig yourself. You know how many traumas are going to be associated with that?
All right, Nadirah. Let's be real about this. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that
I'm gonna see a tree and have a panic attack. Like, take me, Lord. Bring me home. I don't. In the middle of the night, you walk out and somebody tried to bury you alive because they thought you were.
But Nadir, look, let's be real about this whole buried alive thing. This man took some dirt and some leaves and sprinkled it on top of her like that.
She wasn't
When they
getting up
show
from
her,
6
when they
feet.
show it in the following season where she's like, I dug myself out. Her
Yeah,
whole body was
yeah.
outside, and she was just like,
Yeah, she wasn't 6 feet under. You know what
yeah,
I'm
she
saying?
wasn't no 6 feet under. What was he digging with?
And then for real, I'm like, okay, if I'm really like a killer like that, and I try to kill 2 people and they don't die, it might not be for me.
Who's the other person he tried to kill that didn't die?
Peach.
Yeah, Pete.
Oh yeah.
And that's blunt force trauma. And
Yeah.
she was alive. Like, sir.
I mean, he should have learned after the whole Benji situation. He knocked this dude in the head with a mallet. Like,
oh my god.
You know,
that was pretty bad. Like, that was in the first episode, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No, that wasn't Benji.
No,
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was Benji because he tricked them and invited them down.
Oh
to the
yes.
soda joint. I wasn't expecting that at all. That joint. That's when I was like, oh, this show is real. Like, oh damn.
When he killed him with the peanut oil, I was like, yeah, you're crazy. You're to make note of like, all right, that's your allergy. I might need to use that.
But,
what?
You know what's why I go back to this whole thing where it's like there's choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Ozarks or Ozark?
Yeah.
See, that's how you know I'm black. I added S to words that don't belong.
Ozarks.
Ozarks. You see Ozarks? All right. So there's a quote in there where he's like, his wife cheated, and he's like, yo, there was a million times before you got to the moment where you could have said no, but you said yes, right? And every time he gets to the point where he could not do one of those things, like luring Benji in or even hitting Peach, it was like, man, you're good. You don't gotta do this. But then he chooses the wrong thing. So it's like, is that to blame on mental illness? Or is that something, or is that I know someone should be accountable, right? But mental illness kind of messes that process up in your head. You kind of want to get what I'm asking, like, is that like, how do y'all feel about that? I don't know how to
I
ask.
think his mental illness is what made him think he could.
And
his normal human mind, his healthy mind, so to speak, is why he couldn't. Which is why I said serial killers are not that smart. They're just white. They're not that smart.
Are there any black and or brown serial killers?
Yes, there is a black one. He's alleged. I think was it the year before last? He allegedly killed close to 100 black women.
What?
Damn, nigga.
He exclusively killed black and Hispanic women. And when they asked him why, he said, because I knew nobody would be looking for them.
Wow.
Over the span of years. And I think he only confessed to it because he was dying.
Oh my God.
Had to fuck it up for it.
That's just one, though.
That's all I saying.
The other team, I don't know.
Other team
they got a few million.
But look, you guys look. You guys look. I know we were talking about it being like a mental illness, but the thing is that he turns it on and off. So it's like when he chooses. It's like, for example, when he has to help the little kid Paco. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have to be in his neighbor's like business. You feel me? He could just kind of just act like he doesn't know what's going on. If somebody wasn't okay mentally, I feel like every time they would have pulled up in the situation, so something bad would happen, he thought about the like intervening at least like 10 times. You feel me? Before he did it. And the only reason why he did intervene was because homie said it was about to come in and kind of like knock him out. You feel me?
Yeah.
So where is that kind of like that fine line when it comes to like mental illness, or like, yo, this guy is just like Jabril said, kind of like a planned, creative, freaking just killer. You feel me?
That's another
thing too.
What?
We already know with our justice system, that's how a lot of white people get away with like, oh yeah, I'm mentally ill, something is wrong with me, and it's like, nah, you're just a bad person. But the only reason I think mental illness came into play was because of his obsession.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing where I'm like, okay, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Again, I go back. I'll say this to most point.
Yeah.
It all goes back to control.
Yeah.
And he, because of his childhood trauma, traumatic incidences, he knew he basically did the protocol for domestic violence, which is weird, but he knew what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like once you learn about like domestic violence, he tried to intervene, dude shut him down, but then he went quiet with it and it seemed like everything was good. Then he came back again later on and it was even worse. She went to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were kind of learning this past month about domestic violence. But I don't think it's an on and off switch. I think it's just there. And when he feels that he can't control a situation or someone that he's in love with or feels that is important in his life is getting threatened, he reacts how he reacts.
Kicks it into gear. That's a good point.
Yeah, he starts slaying people, right? He's like the White Blade, except for it's horrible. So, I'm sorry. What would you say though, Nadirah? You said something, and I went to most point first, but just.
I was saying how a lot of times mental illness is used to keep white people from being held accountable for their heinous crimes.
You followed up. You said he used his obsession. Like you thought.
Yeah, I would say that's mental illness, his obsession.
I still think our environment breeds that. I think that the fact that we have, like, think about how he was spying on her though. It's all the things that we use to spy on each other every day.
I mean, look. I mean, that
I'm not
is
saying to that extent. I'm not saying to that extent. I was
saying.
I don't have a little box of valuables. I ain't got a little box of valuables like this my homie King right here.
He's like, oh,
what is going on with the Young and Muslim podcast?
nah. So I mean, like for example, right? If you meet a dude, right? Let's say you meet a dude at an event. The first thing you're gonna do is find his social media and you're gonna scroll. You're gonna start looking, figuring out who he is, who he follows. This man started out doing the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, is wild because it almost makes you look into the stuff that is borderline normal and see how unnormal it is. You know what I'm saying? Like no one should be able to have that level of access to someone else's life without them being able to approve it.
Approve it? I don't know.
When I say
also, approve, it was stalking.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
But I mean,
this man was standing outside the window every night.
He still shot his phone off the first Uber ride.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That was wild.
She was on the train tracks, remember? And he finessed her, just like he pickpocketed her. You feel me? And,
yeah, that was wild.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, because like in hindsight, you're like, oh damn, okay, I get why. But yeah, he was too slick. Yeah, this is creepy, man.
He was crazy.
And then he went on social media with like, yo, I'm taking he's like, it's not really a break on social media if you don't tell everybody. You know what I mean? So like literally, like he was like planning everything out and telling people how to do stuff, how to kill people, how to, you know what I mean? So the creativity behind it, I do appreciate that. But just like, you know, the content of the show is very, very extreme. You feel me? Especially when he's doing like a whole bunch of like, you know, as guys, we don't think about like masturbation in like public. You feel me?
That was crazy.
So, yeah, and a show a few times. It's like, damn, that's not. Come on, man. So that's another.
That's the point where I was like, this is not normal.
Like I said, could be another like mental illness, nothing to do like you mentioned, because no normal person, like, bro.
Yes.
You know, like we in and we out. You know, we get our groceries. You know,
that's the whole premise of the show, right? It's just extreme. Like if it wasn't, let's be honest, like no one wants to just watch somebody silently stalk somebody for 10 episodes. That'll just be like that'll be more weird than the show. We sitting there just like, what's he about to see next? But like you're right. The fact that everything was just so extreme was all right. We're not talking about season 2.
Yeah.
But
what you about to talk about?
He's gonna hop in right into it.
I mean, yeah, I like the show. I think it's good writing. I think the acting is very, very good. So much so, the dude that plays Joe, I started to know this more and more and more and more. When he goes in that crazy mode, he looks crazy. Like the eyes, the teeth, he be smiling. I'm like, yo, he like, I did it for love. And I'm like, yo, hey, like, you need to like calm down, fam, because you look, his hair looking
was
wild.
like, I did not ask you to do that.
Yeah.
And it kind of seemed like, not even to say that, like, not even to call her like quote unquote easy, but it seemed like she was not putting up much of a fight. So it's like, if you would have just talked to her, if you would have just slid in the DMs, you would have had her. You would have, like they were literally dating. But I want to know, because I was reading an article just to recap, and they asked a great question. And I want to know what you guys think. Imagine this is someone that you were with, about the same time that Joe and her were like into something. I wouldn't necessarily say they were. Of course, he was in love, infatuated, but she wasn't in love quite yet. But you're getting to know each other. Things are looking great. Things are looking up. And you find the box that she found in his bathroom, full of teeth and blood and just a random bunch of things that you don't know who it's related to. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if they put it there. What is your next step? You're in the bathroom. You find this box. What are you doing next?
Do we drop the teeth like she did, or were we smart enough to make sure nothing was broken?
Absolutely.
All right, we put everything back.
Okay, then what?
Yeah, let nothing happen. And I'm gonna slowly ease my way out. You can't just leave all of a sudden. That would have been too suspicious. So you got to give it. You know what I'm saying? You got to plan your escape.
Are you staying with this woman?
Nah. I would have came in. It's like Jabril said.
I'm just letting Mo talk. I didn't want to interrupt Mo.
Okay, go ahead, Mo.
He started talking. I was like, I'm gonna let him say what he's gonna
say. Said, that's my boo.
If I would have came in and I saw everything, I would have put it back exactly where I found it. You know what I mean? And I would have just left, and not slowly. I would have left before she came back. I would have left before she came back with breakfast. You feel me? Like the pancakes, the bagels. I'm out. You feel me? And then from there, I'm calling in, and I'm not gonna be close. You feel me? And I'm not gonna call the feds on her, but like that's just. I'll take pictures with my phone. I need some evidence. You feel me?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, smart.
Get evidence, and then if anything happened, I ain't no snitch, but I'm gonna let my homie go to the police station. You feel me?
Most I need a third party.
Yeah, listen, I don't do that. I don't snitch.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with Mo. I agree with Mo.
I'll be out. What about you, Nadirah?
I find it better because a lot of times people like to say that if you take a picture of something, they can be like, oh, you could have photoshopped this. I'm taking a video. I am Nadirah Pierre in the Pastor Hub. I'm taking a video of everything.
But he came back fast though. He came back quick.
That's the other thing. All right. So if you're in the exact situation that she was in, you see it, you're looking through it, he comes back, you panic, you're gonna be like, yo, I'm on IG live. Look at it. Like how you moving?
How you moving?
how you gotta move? Ma.
What you say? Hold on, I can't. Hold on, Joe. Hold on. He's not going to.
Anything. Have the camera going. Hold on. I got the camera going like.
I'm like, hold on, let me go outside and take this cover back. I'm going. Yo. I'm like a thief in the night.
Hey, but look how smooth Karen did it though, and that's what I was saying. Look how Karen did it. You think she can find the teeth? You think she found that? Karen, the black girl he was dating.
I was like, who is Karen?
Karen's found all of it. She just found her opportunity. That's why she said to Beck, "Thanks, you got me out of that. I appreciate it. Have fun, deuces." You think she didn't find the box?
I don't know, man.
He was smart.
I don't know. He hid that joint somewhere. I don't know.
Damn, he hid it in a board over the top of his toilet.
But they were just going out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
Word,
husband and
who would
wife.
have looked back there?
Yeah, Shorty, it's not your wife. She ain't gonna go through. You know what I mean? Just like some deep cleaning. She in and out. You feel me? So
I thought it was weird that Beck even looked up there.
No, cause she heard the guy tell him. She heard Joe told Paco, and Paco came and gave Beck the book. Said, "Hey, Joe said the best place to put stuff if you hide it is in the bathroom on top of the toilet."
Yeah, but still though.
What you mean?
But to be honest, that may be a cultural thing because you know your people.
What you mean?
Okay.
For example, not to say that all black men, but I'm not going to check the boards up in the bathroom, but I'm going to check that shoebox under the bed.
Facts.
I want to see what's in there. I'm going to check a couple coat pockets in the closet.
As you said, I got my shoebox sitting right beside me.
Exactly. I'm going to check the glove compartment in the car.
OJ tried that.
Culturally, you know your people, you know where to check.
Yeah. Damn, good. But come on now. But come on. I'm just saying everything's good. He just forgave her all this stuff, and then Paco comes out, "Hey yo, like Joe told me puts in the board above the toilet." And her first thought is, "Let me look above his toilet." I mean, I guess maybe now that I say it out loud, I guess that is like a natural progression. I'm just trying to figure out, were there holes? And this is a great question to ask. Did y'all feel there were any holes in the plot or in the show, or do y'all feel like all things were answered and y'all weren't left with anything after season 1?
I think there was one part I don't know if they tried to like portray like racism, but I don't even know why they kind of like put it in. I think it was weird. Was when the one girl lost a whole bunch of social media followers. She's a big influencer because she said don't be with black guys or something like that. You feel me? So and then I think that went on for like a few more minutes or a few more scenes, but I just thought that was kind of like pointless. You know what I'm saying? I felt like she could have like went down. Her social media following count could have went down for so many different ways, but to kind of portray like racism and then don't talk about like racism again ever throughout the show, you know, throughout the season. I don't know.
I mean, look, they didn't pull a Rami. I'll say that. They didn't pull a Rami season 2. That was they didn't pull a Rami season 2, right? Where it was just like, oh, like look at this, da 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 da, and then
ended
it. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? You do?
I don't think so. But again, I can't really say because I've watched all the seasons.
Yeah.
So it's like I've forgotten any questions that I could have had because they've been answered. But I did have the question that you had, Breel, of like, what was making him choose these women? Yeah. But again, once I watched the seasons, I understood.
Yeah. I mean, what we learned from, when we were at Lil Mahmoud, is that abusers it's character traits. And you pinned it out. You're like those observant type of people, psychopaths. They see character traits in people based off of little things. Because usually the abuser was abused and understands when someone's being abused, right? And so they know how to manipulate because they've been manipulated type deal, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I don't think there were any holes in the story. I think maybe there was a bit of naivete, but there wasn't.
Whose part, bro?
I mean, just overall, I think everyone was a bit naive in certain ends. Just across different small things, like the dude Benji, for example, following some random dude, that really doesn't have you can only create so much of a timeline for who you are, right?
Yeah.
So like certain things like that. But I think they were pretty spot on with how I think all the characters had a lot of depth. I thought that was really, really good. Like Beck had a lot of depth. Benji,
what do you think about what do you think about the old guy, the bookstore
Mooney?
owner?
Louis.
Yeah.
Is that the one that he used to work under?
Yeah, he had a stroke.
He used to beat him too.
I thought he was a pedophile.
Mm.
Like at the point where he was like, yeah, he locked me in a box. I'm like, okay, so he liked little boys, but he's like, nah, he was just mean. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
No, he was a weird character.
I haven't gotten further. I haven't gotten into. I guess it's a question, a season 1 question that we'll go through all the seasons maybe to answer it. But do we find out more about him and the relationship that those two had that may have made him kind of warp his reality, right? Like you said, oh, you would think he's a pedophile, but then we found out maybe he wasn't. But
yeah,
we found out later on that he was doing stuff that maybe kind of woke up that stuff in Joe. You know what I mean? Like, did he really abuse him, or did he just lock him in the cage and be mean to him?
I mean, that's still abuse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that's abuse if I've ever seen it. That's the abuse.
Bro, on the phone, I got him locked up in the cage. It ain't that bad, bro.
I think that part, because he had already been through so much, I think that part of Joe was already set.
Mm.
But if anything, this just served as another trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you get that moment. I don't know if anybody else saw it. When what's her name? Beck locked him in there. You could see like the panic. Like he looked super triggered. He looked like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Oh my God, I'm back at this again." So I think it was just another trigger. I think he was already on that path. But I do think had that relationship been healthy, had that relationship been supportive and encouraging and loving and kind and caring, I think that may have been able to change the course of things.
Ooh. And he does address that in the following season, though, and that's not to it doesn't give anything away about the season, but there's a moment where he's sitting down and kind of contemplating, and he's like, well, if my life was different, would I have been different?
Yeah.
We had this, would I have been different? I would have ran into a different bookstore, would I have been? And it kind of makes you kind of look at certain things like with our own lives. We all do it like, oh, if I would have been here instead of there, would this have been different? As butterfly effect stuff. Yeah. So, and we talked about this right before. I think this show does a good job of making you almost root for this person because it's the structure of a show. Not in like you want him to keep killing people. And then, don't you fold your arms now? But before we were live,
don't even try it.
Keep killing him.
Not saying you rooting for this dude, right? But I think it's weird. I think it's just a testament to how good the people that made the show are and what they do. That the fact that we're watching this and you want things to go well. Like we're even saying, like, fam, if you would just chilled out, you would have had, a good life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's a good show. If you haven't seen season 2, definitely get into it. Mo's already done with season 3.
Nah.
Oh, really?
Nah, I'm watching season 2 right now. I'm like episode 3. It's wild. It's a good show.
So you guys watching it too?
Yeah, no, she already watched it before, but then she's watching it again. But she's just like, I'll pass. I'm watching something else. So
we have to discuss it.
We're watching the Will Smith right now. The Will Smith on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch that?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Oh,
it's good.
Jabril says that about everything. Oh my God.
So what do you give? You like if there was a rating?
Here's what I will say about it. Though my general prejudice and natural disposition would not allow me to root for him, the human part of me sympathize with the fact that though the rest of us, I hope, are not running around becoming obsessed with people and committing murders, I understand that mental health, that life, that trauma is a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. We are all one traumatic experience away from becoming completely different people. May Allah save us. I mean, so I wasn't rooting for him, but I was like, damn, that's sad. Like, that's sad. And it's crazy to watch a show like that and to think about, like, more than sad, like, that's real. That's real. Unfortunately, for so many people, like, that's real. For an overall rating, and I say this as somebody that has watched all 3 seasons, and there's not, as to this point, there's not a single season that has disappointed. A+.
A+.
A+. They've kept it going. They've kept the storyline hot. Interesting victims. But they've kept him consistent. Like, you know how usually, and I don't know if they have, but usually when a show like falls off, it's like they either got a new writer or the writer falls off. Nothing. They've been consistent through all 3 episodes, especially knowing that this latest episode was like recorded and everything in like the middle of a pandemic. So
really?
Yeah. So I'm impressed.
Again, I think I have to give it an A+ too, because I think the writing is excellent. I think the way they go from episode to episode is really good. I don't, like you said, you watched a lot of serial killer stuff and all that. I haven't. So for me, this is kind of my first experience watching something like this, and I find it like super interesting. The acting is amazing. Like, so much so, like, you really think these people, like, they sell it. They sell it extremely well.
They are.
They're selling it extremely well. I think that the final episode where Beck's in the cage and
did you guys think he was going to do it?
Huh?
At the end, did you guys think he was going to do it?
Killer?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't know. But see, mine was kind of ruined because you know how Netflix shows the picture of what's the following seasons. Like, if you're trying to go to a new show and it shows like, okay, he's with someone else. I didn't know what was going to happen to her, but you know, I knew Beck was no more. So I wasn't expecting that though. What, he strangled her or something like that?
I thought he threw her down the steps and then hit her.
He probably
they didn't show it. They didn't show it, but they alluded to it. So I wasn't really sure about that, but it's a good show, man. I agree with Nadirah. I give it an A+.
But that's another thing. This is the final thing I'll say about it. Look how easily he was fooled by Beck.
What you
She's
mean?
like, when she was like, "Oh, I love you."
The way that she was able, and I fully feel like that's the power of a woman. Like, I say it all the time. Women are the ultimate. When it comes to finesse and straight out lying, please.
Nadirah.
Put it in our hands. Shorty was like, all this time, I'm not feeling you, and you won't believe at this moment that I'm in this cage that I'm feeling you. Shorty was like, oh my God, I love you so much, Joe. You know, you just really and he opened it up, no problem. And you want me to believe that this man is a genius?
I didn't call him a genius. I said the opposite. But
we finessed him something crazy.
But remember this: you don't got to be crazy to get finessed by no woman, because that happened. That happened to my man Samson. Shorty cut his hair and everything. Like, he was a full-blown prophet and got finessed. Like, that's just wild. So Joe is not above the finesse.
Of course,
he's not above the finesse. But
what are your thoughts, Mo?
Nah, man, I thought the show was great. You know, especially because after I saw the first episode with Breel, I was like, I gotta go home and watch it. So I got somebody, else's Netflix password. You feel me? I was like, I gotta do this based on research. You know what I mean? Watched the first season and I thought it was great, and I also watched the second one. So I'm on to the third one. I'm like, right now, definitely give it a 8+, 10 out of 10, because it just keeps you. The show's about 45 minutes long, I think, and just. Throughout the whole show is good. It's not too much talking. It is a lot of sex in it. You feel me? which
Yeah.
I just think they just overdo it, you know. But that's just a lot of shows these days. But you know, I give it A+ for.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
so what we got next?
Mo wants to review the Will Smith series, which Nadir, if you haven't seen it, it's Mo. What do you think about it? Because she's not gonna believe me.
We cannot just go on to the Will Smith series without doing season 2 and 3 of You. What are we talking about?
Hey, talk to your man. This was his suggestion.
Hey,
I brought to the table.
Look, so we're gonna do season 2 and season 3. It's gonna take us about like a few weeks, a month and a half.
Yes.
All right.
You're trying to do season 1 and dip. What?
We out.
You can
We're
see
talking
his
about
face.
longevity here.
You can see his face. though. He was like, I mean, we could like, just, like.
Is this the Will Smith series? King Richard?
Best Shape of My Life on YouTube.
Is this about Will Smith in general?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's about him losing weight and also writing his book.
It's like a blog style.
But Nadir, is deep. It's up your alley. Of all the people that I would recommend this to, it's up your alley. Mm-hmm. You're all about past and trauma and what makes the person. Yeah, this is.
Don't do that. Don't point out my weak spots.
This is. She was like, ooh. I'm telling you, this is up your alley.
How long is it? How many episodes?
There's 6 total.
What they like 2 hours each?
Were they hour?
Yeah,
I mean, got an Instagram and hasn't shut up since.
You said
but
what?
Okay.
Hold on, let me just check. I'm pretty sure. Best shape.
Yes, right. Somebody's who's honestly said it's nice for real. They ain't lying.
Yeah, they're about 20 minutes each. They're about 20 minutes each.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so it's an easy watch, but it's very well. You know what? Someone commented and said like this, because I know you've been seeing his content, and everyone rolls their eyes at his content. I thought it was gonna be like that, and someone was like, I thought it was gonna be this real scripted, typical Will Smith thing. He was like, it's completely different, and it's completely different than that. So, no, we're not watching that. We still got season 2.
All right, I'm good with it. It's season 2.
We'll finish that. What, the next show will be in 2 weeks. So
the date, just to let everybody know, we'll do it on December 2nd.
December 2nd. Okay.
Right, so we're going to end the year with you, and then we're starting the year with whatever we decide. Or Mo's still throwing Will Smith in there.
I don't know if at that point, you know what I'm saying? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of be over. All right. Well, hey, this is good. I enjoyed the show. On to I'm finally seeing all the comments.
Wow.
What season y'all watching? So we're watching. We just watched season. I just finished season 2.
Okay. I'm done with all of them. I couldn't bear the mystery.
Yeah.
I'm about to be right behind you.
I'm not a fan of binge watching.
What?
I like episode by weekly episodes.
Breel is weird if you haven't noticed. He's also old. That's why he's really not a fan of binge watching. He can't stay awake.
No, that's Mo. I'm surprised Mo finished.
Why are you putting this out? We're talking about
hey, actually like one a day. Well, it's like Jabril said, I watch it at times where it's like I can't sleep. In like the middle of the day, I'm cleaning up. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
I don't even really be watching it.
He be vacuuming and stuff like, rewind. What you say? Like, nah. See, most someone I couldn't watch a show with. I couldn't watch a show with this dude.
He's a vacuum.
Mo washing dishes.
You in the middle of the show, Mo taking phone calls. I'm like, it's crucial points in the film.
You're like, hold up. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. Right.
Come back, like,
Yo, I just went to the movies like last week with my wife. We watched what's it called? The Marvel movies, Eternals. So we just had dinner at Cheesecake Factory. We watched the Eternals at 10:30. I already knew I was in trouble because I took the leftovers and I brought it with me into the movies. So as soon as the movie got good, I had my feet up. That movie was 2.5 hours long. After the first like 45 minutes, I was just out. And like I told bro, my wife just watched the rest of the movie. I got up every once in a while. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's on point."
Hey yo, be ashamed. Oh man.
Oh my god. Yeah.
All right, inshallah, December. What is it? 2nd?
Yeah, the second show on Thursday.
This show is coming up quick. My
We'll be
god.
back for you, season 2, to discuss. To Jabril to agree with this white man.
Whoa. Look, all I'm gonna say is for season 2.
Mm-hmm. Keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, he's more wild.
Mm-hmm.
In a different way.
In a different way. He's more wild in a different way. But dang it, I will review it right now.
Him getting away with all the crimes on season 1 emboldened him.
Your facts.
Keep it going.
He got stronger.
Yeah.
Oh dang it, we do it. It's just season 1.
Yes.
Interesting. I'll say this to finish off this. At least my point. This is probably one of the most interesting TV characters I've watched in this year, because I've watched some good shows. This is definitely one of the most multifaceted shows that I've watched. So yeah, that goes along my review.
Facts.
Yeah.
So
all right, good night, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Peace.